we've got a major matchup here with the Arizona Cardinals and the Philadelphia Eagles, as the Eagles are looking to clinch up the NFC East, and they are also still vying for that number one seed in the NFC and home field advantage. So we're going to break down this game and what the Eagles have to do to clinch the division. But before we do that, if you have not already subscribed to the channel, we're trying to get to 2,333 subscribers by the end of the year, so we got less than a week to do it. We're about 70-ish away as of the recording of this video. So like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified when we create new videos. Ryan, I want to throw it over to you here. Philadelphia ended their losing streak, back in control of the NFC East. They control their destiny when it comes to winning the division. Currently, as of right now, they are sitting, according to ESPN, as the number 2 seed in the NFC over the Lions. We'll have to kind of see how that all works out, and if the Lions win against the Cowboys, and if they win out again, and if the Eagles win out, how that shakes out. But essentially, they're guaranteed at least the number 3 seed. They are still vying for the number 1 seed overall if the 49ers can somehow lose one of their next 2 games also, and the Eagles win out. So win this game against the Cardinals. And to be honest, if it was a game-clinching week that you had to do it for the Eagles, a team who, it's weird saying that they're struggling when they're still one of the better teams, I feel. I think that's what's scary to me when I hear my statement, which I think is a true statement. But they're struggling and they're still one of the better teams, which means if they can figure it out, I think they can go all the way. That's what they're struggling, and they're still putting 33 points. And of course, it was against the Giants. They're struggling, and then they're still beat the Cowboys earlier this year. Honestly, shot themselves in the foot when they lost the Cowboys. They had 3 kind of crucial turnovers and key moments in that game, which was kind of the main difference. And the Cowboys played well also. But I want to throw it over to you here. When you've watched the Eagles play over this past kind of second half of the season, what has been your overall thoughts on why everyone is feeling like they're struggling? What has been some of the main things that have jumped out at you?
The big thing for me has just been that this secondary is getting exposed. Last year, one, everybody was a little bit younger. 2, they lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson in the offseason. And 3, this pass rush isn't as elite as it was a year ago. And to say that, I know sounds kind of silly, but they had a 70-sack season last year. So for them not to be as good as they were last year is them coming back down to being a top 10 pass rush in the NFL. Even Jalen Carter's having a really solid rookie season. And I just think that this secondary is being exposed and playing more at the caliber of what they are. I do think offensively, losing Shane Steichen, they're a lot more basic this year on the offensive side of the ball than they were last year. But with that being said, they still have really good playmakers. Dallas Goedert is back. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are making plays. And I just think that they're still one of the top teams in the league. I just don't think they might not have that same accents and different things that they did last year that really kind of put them over the top. So that for me, I think is the big thing with the Eagles. And this isn't to say I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender, because I do think that they are. Obviously, if you win your division, anything can happen. I just don't think that they're as much of a shoe-in as they were last year. So,
yeah, well, and also too, it definitely felt like last year it really was Eagles and Niners, and that was just kind of the trajectory. Everybody, there was a big difference between them and everybody else. The Cowboys have improved. The Lions have definitely improved and have been the season. See a team like the Rams also. I'm not saying that the Rams would be the underdogs if they played the Eagles, but still they have that offensive firepower that could keep up with them and can burn their secondary. To your point. Also, then too, you go look at the AFC. AFC is just absolutely loaded as well. So there are a lot more teams this year, and you can make an argument that there's 10 teams that I could legitimately see winning the Super Bowl. While last year we knew it was going to be the Eagles or the Niners, and then it was probably going to come down to the Chiefs or the Bengals. It was much more consistent that way. This year, it's not too many people are playing phenomenal football, except for, honestly, the Ravens then, after how they stomped on the 49ers, which exposed a lot of, I think, maybe some flaws with the Niners. But that's a separate video. With the Eagles, I agree with you. They offensively, I think they're kind of falling into what the Bills were falling into um, after they had that stretch of a good AFC season. Whenever Brian Dable was the offensive coordinator, that first season after the offensive coordinator, and you're right, they had that transition. They started off really well. They were that same team, but then there was just something off about this team and their execution, and maybe it was their play calling. And that's just they seem to be making a little bit more turnovers. They seem to be making just some more mental mistakes like false starts or holdings or Jalen Hurts, even for example, got bailed out to end the first half of the New York Giants game, not going out of bounds, but instead trying to turn upfield with no timeouts. But luckily, there was a delayed game penalty called on the Giants that stops the clock. Just little things like that I don't remember them making last year, which hopefully they can get cleaned up by the start of the playoff season. They are going to be going up against the Cardinals here, who I think they fight extremely hard, and they've had a good season, all things considered, with the situation that organization is in right now, and a clear rebuild. Guaranteed now, I think a top 3 pick at worst. And unless they want to trade out and not get Marvin Harrison Jr., but I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. is there for the taking, and him and Kyler Murray, that'd be a very exciting
Yeah.
combination. So it's going to be a lot of content around what the Cardinals should do this offseason. But when it comes to this game here, Eagles, I think they just are better than them, I think, in every single facet of the game. And so what do you think the Cardinals can do? It's just anything that stands out immediately?
I mean, I think it's not even really like a Cardinals thing. I think if the Eagles do what the Steelers did and they just come in and like, oh, it's the Cardinals. They've won 2 games all year. We'll beat them, and then just don't show up. I think that's how the Cardinals really win because, like you said, they are going to show up and play really hard. But at the same time, they're not going to be like they're not a world beater by any stretch of the means. So, so sorry. That I don't know why that made me yawn, but for that, I just think the Eagles, especially after a game that shouldn't have been as close as it should have, with the Giants, I think they're going to come in here ready to play and ready to play hard. So yeah, I'm also going with the Eagles. Again, I just think they're the better team.
Eagles for me as well. I think they're going to clinch the NFC East. I feel that is the appropriate team to win the NFC East. Even I think they are still just a little bit better than the Cowboys. That's a separate video. So I'm also going to go with the Eagles as well here and clinch up in Week 17.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and wrap up this video here. Again, if you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe and help Tom and I reach our goal of getting to 2,333 subscribers. That would put us at 2,000 subscribers in a calendar year. So if you could help us reach that goal, we'd be very appreciative. And go ahead, leave a comment down below on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Will it be the Cardinals? Will it be the Eagles? Of that, we will see you guys next time.